welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm coming at you with a very fun, interesting video. Today I'm going to take you through the process of how I like to make my penny can stove. This is going to be an alcohol stove. We use aluminum cans to build this stove. So stay with me. I hope you enjoy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay folks, here are some of the things that you'll need to make this stove. You're going to need a small block of wood, whatever height you want your stove to be. This one's, oh gosh, maybe 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, something like that. You will need a small push pin. You'll need a pair of scissors, a pair of needle nose pliers, a penny that was made before 1983. So 1982 would be the latest penny that you'll need. The reason it has to be made 1982 or older is because in 1983 the pennies went from being 95% copper and 5% zinc to 99.2% zinc and 0.8% copper. So if you use one of the 1983 or newer pennies, you have a good chance of that penny melting because it's almost all zinc. You'll need 2 soda cans, and behind the soda cans I have several options that you can use for fuel. From the left to the right, I have the best fuel possible, which is heat. Excuse me, this one belongs in the middle. The next best option to use as fuel would be denatured alcohol, and the last option that I would consider to use as fuel is 91% isopropyl alcohol. So again, first place fuel right here, the heat. My second choice, denatured, and my third, isopropyl. So let's get started, folks. The first thing that I like to do when it comes to building these stoves is I take my can here and I use the pin and I spin the can around in a circle and I etch a line in the outside of the can. Just want to make sure that I have a visible line that I know where to cut. Some people say that if you make 5 or 6 passes around, you can pop it down here and it'll break free and things like that. I personally prefer to use scissors. I'm going to use the same method to do the second can. Same exact thing. So I'm just resting my pin nice and solid right there. Get you a good view here. So I'm resting my pin and I'm just spinning the can. I'm using the block of wood as a guide to hold the pin in position to make a line around my can. I'm pushing the can flat on the bottom of the table, and once I've scored a line that's visual for me to find, easy for me to find, then I'm good to go. Okay, now I'm going to take my push pin and I'm going to find the center of the can, and I'm going to use my block of wood as a hammer to puncture 5 holes. There's the first hole. 2. If you have the power to push through just with your hand, you can. 3. 4. And the last one right there. So you have 5 holes in the center of the can. The center hole, if you want to put your pin in there and kind of widen it out a little bit, you can. In my case, I'm going to use my pointer here and I'm just very mildly going to tap this down. I want that center hole just a little bit larger. Something like that. Now, this is the hole that our penny should fit over. So you don't want to make those holes too big for that penny. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to find these two that are in line, and I'm going to come out here and I'm going to push one hole there. I'm basically going to make 4 holes. 1, 2. You can use your little hammer if you wish. 3. And I'm spinning this to get this push pin out. There's 4. Now I'm going to go right in the center of these holes, you know, so I'd be like right there, and I'm going to make 4 more holes. So now I'll have a total of 8 holes. So there's 5. 6. 7. Number 8 right here. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right now. We have 8 holes on the outer perimeter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right in between the middle of each one, and I'm going to pop another hole. So that'll be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That'll give me 16 holes. These are going to be the vents that my flames come out. Okay folks, that's what we're looking at right now. I've got a total of 16 holes on the outer diameter and 5 holes on the center. So we're finished with this portion. Okay folks, now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to look at where my line is. See my line right here? And I'm going to go upwards, not towards my holes, but up towards the part of the can that I'm not going to use. And I'm just going to start to puncture a hole. Now I'm going to come down, I'm going to cut my way down to where I'm about maybe 1/2 of an inch from the line or something like that, above the line, not below the line. About 1/2 of an inch above the line. Doesn't have to be anything specific. I mean, you could be 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, something like that. Main thing is I want to get down to this portion. Now I'm going to take this portion and I'm going to slowly, carefully cut right along the line with my scissors. Very clean, very straight cut. Take your time, don't get in a rush. I'm going to do this to both cans. See how nice that looks? This is going to be the top. This portion here, I'm just going to set it aside, and I'm going to put all my trash pieces of metal inside there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this can. So again, I'm here, just kind of cutting into the can. Be careful when you're working with this, folks, because this is aluminum can cut you. It's very, very sharp, razor sharp. Make sure you keep your hands clear of the dangerous sharp edge there. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. This is the piece that I want to work on right here. So I'm just going to kind of come right here. I'm just looking for that line. Main thing here, folks, is take your time, be patient. You don't want to rush anything. So this is what I have right here. Everything's nice and straight. This is going to be my bottom. So I'm just putting all this excess stuff away. I'm not going to need that. Right now, I'm going to take these cans and I'm going to look inside. You see how I have a little bit of water inside? That's okay. I've already washed these. Well, all I did was put water in them, but sometimes if you're drinking like Dr. Pepper or Coke or root beer or something like that, you might have a little bit of residual Coke in this little groove here. So if you have that, you want to take that out. Wash these just with water. If you don't have that, no worries. Or if you've already washed the cans, no problem. So now I'm going to take this portion and I want to make an imaginary line on my pliers so that I go to the same depth each time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bite and twist. Same depth, bite and twist. Bite and twist. Don't want to twist too hard because we don't want to twist holes or anything. We don't want to crack the aluminum, but I'm giving it a pretty decent little twist. Bite and twist. Bite and twist. You might be sitting there watching and you might be wondering, why do I do that? I do that to give it this type of shape. The reason I want this type of shape is because it'll make it easier for these two halves to go together. See that? See how easy it fits in there? Okay. This is going to be the reservoir which my fuel sits in, and I like putting this upper outside of it because it gives me another layer of material which helps keep this strong, you know, from being punctured. So now I'm just going to kind of mold these things together. Some people, before they put these together, some people put a little bit of fiberglass in here. I've also seen people put cotton balls in here, and they do that as an insulator or a wicking type option. I personally don't do them that way. I just put them together from here. I've read forums online where people were talking about the fiberglass, and there was some concerns about the fiberglass creating some bad fumes. I haven't seen anything like that personally. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down, and I'm going to use my block of wood here to kind of just gently tap on it. What I'm trying to do is seat this down. Don't want to tap like crazy hard or anything like that, but I don't want to push too much with my hands because if this slips free, it could cut me. So just nice mild taps with this piece of wood, my hammer if you will, and you'll know when you're finished because everything will look uniform. Everything will look nice and clean. Now if you have any kind of edge hanging up over here, you can take your scissors again and run along this edge and just kind of cut that off, or you can just kind of fold it in. Okay, so it doesn't really matter too much. I like to fold it in because it creates a little bit of a I don't know, it kind of seals it shut, I guess you could say. So at that point, my penny stove is finished. Okay folks, now it's time to fill this baby up and we'll light it and see what it does. So I'm going to go ahead and open this heat. This is some great fuel. This is one of the lesser expensive fuels. It doesn't cost too much, and it works great to fuel these little alcohol stoves. Don't get the heat in the red bottle. Make sure you're getting the heat that's in this yellow bottle. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in the middle. Give it a little time to soak in. If you spill a little bit around the stove, this is actually a good thing. You see how I spilt some here? This is actually good. It'll help aid in the priming step when it goes to light the stove. So I'm just kind of lifting it to fill, get an idea of how much fuel's in there. We still need more. I like the option, you know, of the lip right here on the outside, because it kind of creates a little reservoir for the fuel to go to. It's kind of nice. So that looks good. Now we're going to take our penny, set it right in the center, and we're going to put a little more fuel around it. Okay, I just killed the lights to help with the view. I put some fuel in there. Let's light it. What I'm hoping for is I'm hoping that the aluminum will get hot and that it'll turn that gas or that liquid fuel inside to a gas. So it needs to prime a little bit. If you can put a little bit of alcohol around the stove on the pan, sometimes that helps. Okay, I'm just going to pour a little bit more. Just going to kind of finish filling, and now I'm going to pour a little bit around on top of this pan on purpose. Now I'm going to light it. The reason I poured some on the pan is because I want to use that to heat the stove up so that it can prime. Let me push that penny over the ports. And you can see that the stove is starting to come to life. The reason we need the penny is because this stove develops pressure, and if the pressure gets too high, it'll push that penny off and it'll relieve itself, kind of like a fart almost. Once these little flames down here go out, we're going to have a nice burning stove. It's going to have some nice flames coming out of those ports. Look at that flame. Isn't that beautiful? A stove like this will burn for about 15 minutes, and it produces plenty of power. You can use it to boil water for cooking. You can actually cook eggs, bacon, sausage, I mean all kinds of things, pancakes, you name it. It's just like a regular stove. Puts out about 8,000 BTUs or so. Well folks, I want to say thank you for watching my video today on how to make a penny can stove. I hope you found some good useful information, and I hope you had fun with me. Please feel free as always to like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel, and always have a beautiful day. Until next time, we'll see you later. And go out there and make yourself a penny can stove. They're a lot of fun. Okay folks, I'm back. I got one more thing to talk about. You can see that there's bright yellow flames. That's because I added isopropyl alcohol to the fuel because I wanted to give you a good visual. I wanted you to be able to see the flames, but I didn't want the room to be dark. Now the question that you might have is, how do I put this stove out when I'm finished cooking? Well, there's two ways that I like to use. One, I blow it out, just like that. Or two, I can take the bottom of a Coke can, this is the bottom, and I cut out this little piece that looks like this. And when I have that piece, I just throw it right on top. Whoops. If I can make it, if I can aim right, and it'll slough out my flame. So those are two options that I can use to put out my stove. If you light the stove while it's still hot, you don't have to prime it again. It'll light up real good. But again, you can blow it out or slough it, or a combination of the two. Thanks again. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.